Might be a different look in game number 2. We'll take a look at the picks and bans and see if we go back to the assassin or back to the basics and go a la Warriors. Cringe Crew, they get first pick this time around, as does Hunger for More. We're back on our Season 3 P's and B's.
Oh, come on, man.
Raijin, take a seat.
I actually wanted to see the old picks and bans. I asked him if we could do it again for the next couple games. They're like, no, man, no. I'm like, come on, man, please. Raijin, 0 wins to his name, still being banned out. We saw how effective it could be, specifically on PrettyPriMe, allowing Hungry for More to kind of make that a competitive match. Aphrodite got to be banned out, so not a big fan, especially if they're looking for that Alkwang. Honestly, Aphrodite, very good at countering that execute with her damage immunity ult.
4th ban coming here.
It's got to be Kali.
You think it's Kali?
I mean, it's
Repi.
Repikas.
It's going to be Kronos.
Okay,
and
so respect.
I agree with that one. Yeah, Kali, it is Repikas. Watch out, and that might be a problem, but Shaggyshenk went 10-2 and 5.
I'm picking Kali here, right? And then as long as Hungry for More don't grab the Odin, you can go Odin support maybe. I guess that depends also on EmilZy's playstyle. Although I believe EmilZy is a player who is going to kind of pick for the team. Okay, so it's going to be Neith. A little bit of pressure and a little bit of question mark. Is this going...
Sorry, we saw the Neith ban last game as well, so definitely something that Cringe Crew has been thinking about just a little bit.
Did Cringe Crew ban it, or did Hungry for More?
I believe it was Hungry for More.
I don't know, man. Why don't we ask the interns?
That's right.
They missed the golden bow.
They did the P's and B's. I was out there getting my drink, and everybody goes for it. Guan Yu selected. Hungry for More.
Odin's still up, a very good counter for Guan Yu. We'll see if Hungry for More elect to kind of go this duo frontline style. Zendern, also like EmilZy, where I feel like he'll be willing to play anything for the team if it fits the composition. They could look for this double front line, or they could look for the Ho Yi. We know how much Ataraxia likes it. So it is the Odin. I really like this pickup. Make sure to take away a god that Repikas did. Not, he didn't have the best game, but he just did everything right.
Repi did his job, like you said.
And the biggest counter to Guan Yu, honestly.
That's what does it for me. Guan Yu gets trapped. Guan Yu's whole Guan Yu-itude gets locked down.
Just say Guan Yu-itude.
Yeah, the Guan Yu-itude. That's his whole dash, heal, dash, heal, dash, heal. All of a sudden he's dashing and then twiddling his thumbs in the ring. So Saul also selected for Cringe Crew, which still ambiguous. Both of these lanes can be different. Whereas Sobek, that's definitely going to be your support.
Yeah, I mean, the Sobek-itudes where you're just able to pluck players out of position and your team can...
All right, if you're going to say that, it's got to be Sobek-itude.
Sobek-itude. Actually, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
All right.
The Sobek-itude is what that is. It's the aggressive positioning you take in lane. Everybody has to stand behind the minion wave so they don't get plucked. That's the Sobek-itude of a lane.
This is April Fool's because this is a joke.
Ho Yi also selected, as you said, Ataraxia. Super excited about raiding those
A god
subs.
he really likes. We talk about it a lot. There are gods in the game that if you have a very high mechanical ability, you can utilize or abuse more effectively than your counterparts. Where the Neith's very safe, right?
Sure.
If it's the best hunter versus the worst hunter or one of the bottom hunters in the SPL, it's going to have pretty close to the same effectiveness. Where gods like Ho Yi, you can really shine. Rom as well.
Serket, you see that moving away from hunters. You see it with
Thor,
Serket.
you can see. Some big, Thor guards, so much more effective than anyone, really.
Awilix is my favorite at the moment as far as execution. You can really tell the difference between Awilix players and
assassins
ones that...
like that.
Exactly, assassins. And Serket actually going to be banned out here by Hungry for More. So.
I like that pick. Or ban. Very good against kind of Odin and Guan Yu.
Yep. Serket does well against that squad.
I just noticed that Kali's not picked.
Yep. And not banned. And Repi still doesn't have a god.
I don't know if Kali really fits into Cringe Crew's composition. You have 3 pretty hard carries. Your last pick would need to be someone with a lot of peel, probably for your hunters, in quotations, counting Soul as a hunter.
I can see...
It's still she has the same playstyle as a hunter.
I can see Kero playing a sort of defensive... The Vulcan is here! PrettyPriMe himself! So Vulcan is a character that has always teetered on the edge of viability. Some people like him, some people don't, and he's never been considered completely unviable because there's a decent argument against it. When it comes to PrettyPriMe, though, everybody's got their flavor picks that are good no matter what. PrettyPrime's the guy that drives the Vulcan.
Tier picked up for Cringe Crew, so I like that. Someone with a lot of potential peel, although Tier's usually going to be diving the back lines. And this is going to be going over to Zashu in the solo lane. Awilix picked up. So actually, I was going to mention it, I actually really liked Awilix for Hungry for More's composition. You can knock players up, also very good against Neith. You can actually pull them into the Odin ult. Vulcan as well can set it up. I don't know if Hungry for More was going for that, because I don't think I've ever seen CaptainTwig actually play Awilix in a competitive match. It doesn't feel like a god for him, but if they were going for it, a really smart counter pick by Cringe Crew. Also, they have their own knock-up in Sobek to
Zhong
play off of it.
Tons of gods that we are just not used to seeing here.
Zhong solo?
Zhong solo,
Against
for
Tier.
sure. Yep.
Probably pretty good. Can actually stun out that Fearless in lane, and can get tanky enough, especially if he goes Breastplate of Valor very early, to where he can survive any kind of Tier ganks as long as the positioning is there. And assuming that, you know, the Tier is not going to go blink, he doesn't really have to worry about getting kind of pushed into his own tower or pushed into the opposing tower away from his tower.
Same strategy from Variety one more time, foregoing the early teleport and picking up a defensive relic here. Bede's going to be coming out for the Zhong Kui, the first thing you got to look at. And more importantly, as the game goes on, you got to look at that lane in general to see just how much Tier is pushing out that Zhong Kui.
Ataraxia going the Golden Bow build. Can we highlight over this? Because this has been recently buffed in the 3.5 patch. So it's the same stats. And what's happening is as you auto-attack, you actually kind of, every attack, if in an aura around the auto attack you hit, you will do splash damage. And this splash damage has been increased on both the throwing dagger and the golden bow. So now doing 25% of the damage to gods, 50% of your damage to those around. So very effective for gods who struggle to clear with one ability early on, most notably gods like Hou Yi. Maybe we'll see an Artemis as well, because it has crit. Very good for her passive, so we'll have to see.
And the crit's a big point there, Kevin, as we see a fantastic clearing from the guys on Hungry for More. Perfect Vulcan placement. Is the crit chance on it, right? It's 10%. You're not exactly like, hey, look at my Deathbringer. But early on, we've all played against an Artemis. That surprise crit, you calculate in your head. All right, I can take about 5 basics. All of a sudden, 5 turns to 3.
No joke. If you get crit twice and don't have control of the wave, you lose all pressure. Like, it's just that much. Artemis specifically will crit you for, I think it's 110 or 115. Jeez. Something like that. So 2 of those in a row at that low level, you're looking at almost half your health, and you lose all pressure. Golden, though, can have that same effect.
So Cringe Crew, after an aggressive set, or at least try, on the left side of the map, they're going to go back to sort of basic starts. They wanted to see where Hunger for More was. They would have ganked if HFM went for the mid camps, but instead Hunger for More went for the backs. So no big deal there.
CaptainTwig just looking to clear lane, you can see, actually bird bombing it. Left-hand side, Zender on this Guan Yu support has actually gone meditation very early, so some potential med baits.
Love it.
The lane is going to be fairly safe, even if Sobek finds a good pluck.
Guan Yu is sort of like a meditation on Guan Yu is sort of a super. What is the heal on? 1? It's like a super one, right?
Conviction.
Yeah, the conviction. Because you're putting out all these little heals, and then oh no, we need a big one. Where I'll hit meditation. So it just fits very well into what Guan Yu's mentality is.
His Guan Yu-itudes, you could say. Or is it Guan Yu-itudes or is it Guanitudes?
No, it would definitely be Guan Yu-itudes, but I don't know if I...
It doesn't fit into his Guan Yu-itudes?
Nah.
Okay,
I don't think that's the application.
Left side, we actually see an aggressive pluck coming out from EmilZy, but I think he missed it, and he's going to be turned on.
Yeah, trying to body block the shots is Shaggyshenk. Ricochet. Just barely missing. Wow.
No, it hit. It hit. It's just like not doing that much damage. It was no bounce.
Yeah.
It actually doesn't do that much if you don't bounce it.
For a second, I was going to say, hey, if he was Kepri, you would have hit. But Kepri's a little bit wider than Sobek, which is...
calling him fat?
Yes, I am.
Come on, man. He's a bug.
I was always told.
He's a giant bug. He's probably fit. He's just, like, been blown up in size.
That's always my excuse. Variety getting pushed into the wall here by Zashu. A lot of damage coming out now. Zhong Kui does bring a number of elements into this solo lane. He does have sustain by way of his heal. So it's not just, why would you put a mage in the solo? And he's tanky by default. Building up stacks gives him those the passive protections. But the problem is, he's still able to just be pushed around by this tier, and Zashu is going to take every advantage.
You can see Zashu coming in with about a 200 gold lead, going to likely control these fire elementals for most of the game as well. Not trying to steal away that boar, though, as he doesn't really know where anyone is. And most importantly, though, Zashu, once again, going to have that teleport as a frontline warrior. Variety wants to go into the Purification for a lot more safety. I like the decision, especially considering that there's an Awilix as well, something you have to worry about. If you get knocked up, you're guaranteed dead if you don't have those Purifications as a mage, even one as tanky as Zhong.
Well, I mean, you know,
you're not guaranteed dead.
Well, you say that, but think about the situation. Repikas pulls the Zhong into the middle of 5 members of his team.
I hope
Zhong just pulls the trucker horn and ults.
I think I saw you do that the other day. Variety, though. I do like the Zhong. It's definitely a lot safer in lane. You can do a lot more things. Even when you're behind, you're guaranteed to be able to have a little bit of effectiveness in the team fight with both your stun and kind of AoE ults. I do expect a Gem of Isolation as well. Very good on this guy. Just kind of just slowing everyone in his aura, and it's a pretty big aura.
Zhong is very much a warrior mage. You know, he's thick, he's tanky.
Battle mage. Yeah, he's a battle mage.
Exactly, battle mage for sure.
That sounds so much cooler.
It does sound so much cooler. He's definitely a battle mage. He gets because in melee range, and like you said, more importantly, he provides more than just damage, and that's what we're seeing in the mid lane. A ring onto the Vulcan ult. That's a huge chunk onto CaptainTwig, and EmilZy's down. PrettyPriMe with the first blood, thanks to the meatball, but Repikas answers immediately and takes out Guan.
Knockup's the strongest form of CC in Smite. If you don't do anything preemptively, you're stuck up in the air. Even with meditation, Zender can't get it off while he's in the sky and falls in return before he can land. So really nice play coming out from Repikas. EmilZy just barely mistiming the dash. You could actually see trying to pluck himself out of the cage, but just about. Actually, it wasn't really close. It was like a second and a half too early, but just a little bit of mistimed.
The back successful from the Hunter. Shaggyshenk pushed this lane up. But yeah, right there in the middle lane. Talking about knockups, Kevin. They really are. So, like you said, you can't do anything once you're in the air. It's just, oh well.
OP.
And they don't suffer from DR.
OP.
You can stun somebody 17 times in a row, and then when you knock them up, they're still up there for 12 years or wherever the hell the natural length is. There's no DR on knockups.
OP. And they got a couple of them.
Yeah, they've got EmilZy with 2, Repi with 1, Zashu. All right, Tier doesn't have it anymore. We all weep and cry.
With the 1.
Not on the defensive one though.
Oh, with the 100-0 Wolfie combo.
I was gonna call it the Wolfie combo, the old 2032.
So Pax Prime. So basically, this got Tier's released. Wolfie plays it for like a week straight. He's like rank 8 on the 3rd day.
Like 3 years straight. Keep going.
He's rank 8 on the 3rd day. No, everyone else says this god is bad. Wolfie gets target banned every single game at PAX Prime. Every single game. No one else played it. No one else cared about it. They're just like, we just don't want Wolfie on this guy. Backside, CaptainTwig.
Interesting gank. Ring is down. No bird bomb available.
He got the wrong guy.
Yeah. Oh, Pole is going to be beads out. That's important. Jumping away is CaptainTwig. Under the towers, EmilZy. That's going to be an issue. 1, 2. Hit from Zender. Not going to find it, but the backfire will. PrettyPriMe finds his 2nd kill of the contest, and here comes Variety all the way from the short lane. Damage coming out onto Kero, enough to bring him down to about 30. And Cringe Crew, or Hungry for More rather, have the power and the push in the mid lane.
Big rotation coming out from Variety. Not able to find a kill, but forcing Kero onto under 50% health is going to allow Hungry for More to siege this Tier 1 tower. More than likely uncontested. You can see just a couple more swings and it will go down. First tower.
6 minutes.
Over to Hungry for More.
7 minutes or less is how fast Hungry for More will deliver your first tower. Zashu able to tank out a whole bunch of damage from Zender. He's 3 levels above the enemy support. So just sort of walking towards it, and Cringe Crew going to pick up these right-hand harpies.
EmilZy really suffering this game. So over the left-hand side, we actually missed it on screen, but I was watching on the minimap. Actually tries to find a pluck under tower. That's when we saw the Ricochet do a little bit of damage, but not enough. Almost dies there. Once again in the mid lane, gets caught in the ring. Dies her first blood, mistimes his dash out. Then, for a 3rd time, actually gets caught in the mid lane again, although that was more of a really fantastic play coming out from CaptainTwig.
Right.
But CaptainTwig just barely missing he's on the outside. Then tries to dash again, misses, under tower, guaranteed death. So there was a joke last season, and I still remember this. EmilZy can't hit a pluck for anything.
Okay.
Unless he had blink.
I remember that.
And every time he blink, charge, pray, he hit it every single time. If he just tried to do it without the blink, couldn't hit it.
Got to be fancy.
So I wonder if he's going to go the blink.
I mean, it would just make sense.
He's got Shell, which I think is very good, especially for kind of how rough his game has been so far.
Right.
so he can survive a little bit.
Yeah, you know, that's always crazy when you see somebody, you know, it just can't land the basic, but the extra stuff going for it. I could never kickflip, but I could double kickflip.
I want to. Do you have a video of this? If
If
not, we should reenact it. Oh, right-hand side. Repikas caught back in. A little bit of laziness. Is going to jump away, but Zinder, and he's going to surge forward looking for a nice pluck from EmilZy.
That was an initiation. That was a kill. That was almost like a fighting game where you hit confirm, right? If Zinder can deal this damage, then we're going in, right? Well, he can't. EmilZy comes out of nowhere, takes the pluck, dissuades the whole idea of going for the initiation. Hunger for More walks directly away and just opts to play the vision game.
The bait, they're looking for EmilZy again, trapped in the cage for the second time. Zindern over the top. EmilZy, he'll be CC immune, but taking half his life already, is going to get out of the cage. Jashes forward, enough damage to finish off Zindern.
EmilZy turns the tables, pops up out of the ultimate just to avoid the CC, and winds up with a kill of his own. CaptainTwig gets pulled on down. Shield is going to be immuned, or taken away, I should say, by Reppy's feather flip.
All right, this is a lesson, right, for Hungry for More.
What's that?
They did it the first couple times, but it's clear they can't do it again. EmilZy a little bit too tanky now and can turn it around, especially if the rotation comes in. Gold Theory going to be started from CC.
Well, I don't know. I still like that. We saw that a lot in the Luminosity game as Repikas still playing aggressive. PrettyPriMe dealing so much damage, and Reppy's gone.
Right-hand side, PrettyPriMe trying to get the beads off, and it's going to be chased away by Zashu. EmilZy playing Peel 4 now. Shaggyshenk and Kero are waiting around the corner. EmilZy trying to get off the Odin cage. It's back up again. No, not 5-second cooldown just yet. There it is.
Beautiful.
There, Kero trapped inside.
Shaggyshenk just barely gets out, and Ataraxia takes out the Neith that was stuck inside. Zashu, no cooldowns. Zashu, no life bar. CaptainTwig takes out Zashu this time around for his first kill. Been playing assist man all game.
EmilZy going to rotate forward, trying to help Shaggyshenk. You can see Variety very low. Ooh, the Stellar Burst doing a lot. EmilZy wants to get in there, but the healing from Zindern a little bit too effective. Variety takes a trip back to base. Hungry for More successfully fight off Cringe Crew, find 2 more kills, maybe a third.
Pluck misses again from EmilZy. He's marked by the Crow. Reppy will take a look at these mid-harpies. He thinks there's not a chance HFM goes for the Gold Fury, and he's right.
Let me take a quick look at player healing. I want to see where this Guan Yu's at. Obviously, it's not going to be high so far, only 1,500, but I want you to take note of this. This is at 10 minutes.
Right.
Zindern, once he gets his first defensive item online, which actually he's really far behind somehow. Actually, he's really far behind. Sitting at 4,600 lowest gold in the game, 400 below his counterpart. But really needs to get his Urchin online as fast. Coming into 30 minutes, I want to take a look at the healing. Right. I imagine if there's a lot of fighting, 20K. This Guan Yu could be kind of the reason Hungry for More come up with the win.
I mean, we've seen that a number of times with Guan.
A ton of times.
I mean, it's just so effective, and it's different than Hell, and it's different than Aphrodite in the sense that where it's similar to Hell is that it's a team-wide heal, right? But the problem is Hell gives you such a big burst and it's so impactful, but you also melt as soon as somebody looks in your general direction. Guan Yu, they're smaller heals, but they're coming out so fast. It's like an Uzi of healing. Just heal.
Oh, man. Right-hand side, Variety actually electing to go into the Warlock Sash, starting to stack that up. Very effective for a battle mage, such as Zhong. I'll be wondering if he actually elects to go into the Breastplate of Valor. I actually think that would be the perfect item for him. Sobek, going to be multiple levels behind him. He doesn't have to worry about that damage, which means the only magical damage he has to worry about is coming from Soul. This is going to allow him to have CDR and just be so much more effective. Zashu.
Great blink in from Zashu is going to eliminate PrettyPriMe. Ultimate does come off, and it's going to bring the tier down low, but he's able to fearless himself on out. Kero charging up the shot. No one really in range for a kill, but Zindern in range for a stun. EmilZy follows up with a pluck, but not enough damage from the mid laner to take out the young support.
The healing going to be effective. You can see with PrettyPriMe down, it's a lot more likely that we see Cringe Crew able to successfully secure this gold tier. That's just what they're looking for, and there it is. Hungry for More, not able to get in there in time. Well
played. Shaggyshenk takes zoning to the next level, actually gets a kill. CaptainTwig down for the count. What I meant to say was Zashu takes zoning to the next level, gets a kill in the mid lane, and that just opens up the door for Cringe Crew to go on the objective. And now it opens up the door to chase. Zindern doing more damage than Repikas, I think, anticipated there with the Tallow Assault. And Zindern so very, very low, but Cringe Crew practice and exercise their patience. They opt not to dive the tier 2.
Cringe Crew 5-5 in kills, but find themselves with about a 2,000 gold lead off of that gold tier. Pretty respectable coming out from them. Hungry for more, though. These solo laners, right now, Variety just can't be as effective. And that's one thing, is that Hungry for More, both games, or at least the first game specifically, are trying to force stuff when they're basically a man down, right?
Right.
The Zhong, once he gets full build, very effective. But when he's still building up Warlocks and only has boots, it's a lot harder to be effective unless it's a big breakout team fight.
I like the change here that Variety's made, though. I think that might have been the problem for Variety on Ao Kuang last game, where his team was just forcing things, and he was like, all right, I'm coming, guys. Oops, I died. This time around, he's like, nah, you fooled me the first game, guys. I'm going to sit here, I'm going to collect a couple of assists, and I'm going to hang out. And then later on, I'm going to come and be a real big annoyance to the enemy team. So, nice adjustment coming out from Variety to correct some of the mistakes he made early in game number 1.
Pretty slow-paced game now, 14 minutes in. I expect it to continue. Both teams in the fights have tried to force stuff, right? Both teams have been looking for these engagements. Early game, it was Hungry for More trying to pick off EmilZy, although that's becoming much less effective now that he has Sovereignty online.
Right.
He's starting up into what's more than likely going to be Bulwark. Not too much healing he has. Actually, oh no, it actually should be Pestilence, obviously. Guan Yu.
It's interesting, you know, you say slow-paced game, and you're definitely on the money there. It's more meticulous and calculated than other slow-paced games, though. You notice that? Like, there seems to be a reason for almost all of these engagements. They all seem to have a long, extended plan. And look at who these teams are. You've got EmilZy and Ataraxia. Now you're shaking your head. The plans might not come to fruition, but the idea is, all right, we're going to lock the croc. That's our game plan, right?
Lock the croc.
There's a mindset going into these engagements. That's what I'm saying. And you look at the players, Ataraxia and EmilZy. These are the guys that are known for being the guys with in EmilZy's case, a literal playbook. I use that term a lot when talking about some of the high-end teams that do these plays that we see over and over again. EmilZy actually, once upon a time, had a book full of strategies and plays. So that's where these teams are coming from. Their heads, almost. EmilZy and Ataraxia, the captains of these two squads, definitely have a top-down level of thinking with respects to how they play their game.
Gold tier going to be spawning in 2 minutes. We'll see which team kind of wants to take the initiative and try and force it. So far, it's been Cringe Crew, I think. Hungry for More. Like you said, the playbook has been lock the croc.
Yep.
Try and pick them off. Worked early. Not going to be working as easily as the builds start to be finished here. I really want to know what EmilZy's going for his second relic. Everyone right now has their second one except for him. He's a little bit short. You can see these back camps should put him at 12. Oh, no, through a split.
Do you go Curse?
You could. Curse also very good here. But I say Blink just because that's what he did back when
exactly.
it was active. Curse probably way more effective here. Not only will PrettyPriMe be stuck, specifically because there's only a single sprint, which means it's so much less likely that PrettyPriMe is going to have the sprint used for him, but also very good against the Guan Yu as well. Shuts down anti-healing a little bit. Like,
oh, yeah.
Pretty effective.
Zashu with a little bit of invade onto Variety's pigs.
He can't do anything about that. He can throw a card over the wall and hope he RNGs it. Otherwise, he walks into it, and you can see he's actually not going the Breastplate of Valor. So,
look at the damage Variety's able to output, though. That's the battle part of the battle mage me and Kevin were talking about, and that's no joke. He's definitely a different style mage. You know, we have these these distinctions between characters, mage, warrior, etc., etc. But you can dial that down even more so. Aphrodite's a little bit different than the average mage, and the other extreme is Variety on the Zhong. What other gods are different in that regard?
Sorry, say that again.
Like, what other gods? Like, we call this Zhong a battle mage. Are there other battle mages out there? I would say
Cabrakan.
Yeah, Cabrakan's like an assassin mage. Or he's a guardian, right? He's classified as a guardian. He's like an Ares type deal where he's a warrior guardian.
He's a battle mage.
Yeah.
He's a battle mage.
He doesn't feel like a mage though. He feels just like a melee. I mean, he is melee. He just feels like a beat 'em up guy.
Because he is. All his abilities enhance his auto attacks are a very close range. Like, it's exactly what he is.
Yeah, you're totally right. I don't know where I'm thinking. I'm thinking more like where Hades was. Hades was a guardian, but very obviously a mage for a long time.
Battle mage now too.
Yeah,
actually is a mage.
Yeah, Hades is a battle mage for sure. Very different story from the Ryjins and the Vulcans that we see that sit on the back line and play artillery. Variety, as he transitions into these team fights, because we haven't seen it yet, we've just seen Variety on the outskirts. He's level 17. As these team fights sort of come together and we see more attempts near the Fire Giant, and as 5-on-5s happen, he'll be more in the center. CaptainTwig avoids the center by jumping away right underneath his tower, and Cringe Crew get a nice pick, but not a death off of it.
So you can see what happened there. CaptainTwig gets plucked a little bit out of position, half his life in under a second, and that's kind of like the weakness of his build. You can see he's actually gone into this Breastplate of Valor, Jotun's Wrath, max CDR, so Cage got to be up, I believe, like every, I don't know,
36.
5 seconds. No, it's 5 seconds. Every 5 seconds, the Cage is up. You'll see it 3 times in an extended engagement. But honestly, not that tanky, right? The Breastplate of Valor is good, but now that we're 18, 19, you know, working on 20 minutes, once these players have their damage items, which they do, more specifically Soul, he's not going to be able to survive burst. I mean, Soul could not necessarily 100-0, plucked back, CaptainTwig, caught by Repi.
Love that. Awilix against Odin is so much fun. Gold Fury going to avoid the Vulcan ult, as is everybody else. And the sun's crashing down will send people in a different direction. CaptainTwig does fall for that. You know, there was a conversation, and right now, Gold Fury being a little bit contested, halfway down on the objective. Sprint is popped. Cringe Crew looking for Ataraxia. Slowed.
Sanctuary for now. There's the Neith. He's going to be stunned out. Zender does have a stun, trying to keep the team at bay, peeling as best he can, but I mean, Zashu is just a massive tank. Ataraxia manages to make it out, and here's Variety. Will pick up EmilZy with the Ghost, but Zashu to the back line, looking to turn it. Purification used for now, not knocked up. Variety is, however, and Zashu finds him. Ataraxia trying to make it back to base, but hungry for more, just getting surrounded one at a time. It's an extended engagement, which in theory is theirs to win with the healing, but it's not going that way.
Pick turned into a fight. PrettyPrime's going to fall here. B Purification and the Sanctuary. Not enough as Kero comes down on top. CaptainTwig drops the ring just for a passive stack. Not able to really help out his teammates, though. And he's under tower with Ataraxia, that's all. Tower defended, but 3 down for Hungry for More. That's going to bring Cringe Crew in the lead, 9-6, as well as the gold, 3,500 in the way of the blue team. They won game 1, and they're looking for the same result in game number 2.
Zashu, once again, just being so much more effective in these team fights. Variety, honestly, was able to manage, he managed to get a kill, but the problem is that this tier is effective during the entirety of the fight. Front to back, if he's alive, if he has mana, he is making an impact. Variety comes in, drops his kit, and then he's got nothing.
Well, you know, I agree with you. Let me preface this by saying I agree that the extended engagements do traditionally go in Hungry for More's favor, just alone based on the fact that they have the Guan Yu. Ataraxia finds himself just surrounded by the enemy, takes a spill. But Variety, Hungry for More, especially with the Vulcan in tow, they want the majority of the fight. They don't want the fight to be over, but they want 2 people dead by the end of Variety's ultimate. And then Zhong can be a little bit safer when, you know, once it's 5-on-3. One more time, Odin gonna jump away, get slowed by the ultimate out of tier. No kill just yet.
Repikas, you can see how effective this Feather Step is, but should get picked up diving a little bit too deep. For the second time in a row, actually Feather Steps out of the cage as Odin walks out. I love the timing from him, but it's just not there for that time. EmilZy gonna pluck Zender away as the team tries to take this tier 1 tower, but Variety's here, and they might have overstayed their welcome.
Cringe Crew picks up the tier 2, and that's all they want. Can they escape is the question. It looks like the answer is definitely yes. Not a problem.
Gold Fury could be looked at. You can see Soul pressuring that tier 2 on the left-hand side, but CaptainTwig had rotated in to defend it. Level 20 on this Soul, highest in the game, along with Zashu.
So one of the picks, the Awilix pick, I really like it. There was a conversation on Twitter that I saw last night, which finally vocalized what I've been saying. Awilix should be picked. Odin is so exciting; he's being picked all the time now, and a lot of what he brings to the table outside of the ring, quite obviously, is the jump. Awilix just counters that dead as night. As soon as the Odin goes into the jump and then the ring, Awilix can pull him out of the way. Why don't we see more of that, Kevin? Is it just because she has a high skill ceiling?
She's just more risky to run. That's it. It's
yeah.
If she gets behind early, she's effectively useless.
I mean, you can say the same thing about Kali.
No.
Okay.
No, you can't. Have you ever? you want to go Kali versus Awilix late game full build?
All right, that's fair. That's totally
Ain't
fair.
even close, buddy.
Oh,
Ain't even close.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
But Awilix kind of has to sit there in the front line, and while
Just
she can
wait.
pull people out of position, it's, you know, if she can't sit there and at least be there for a couple seconds, very bad against pretty wide range AoEs as well. If there's a lot of them, which honestly Hungry for More does have, but they haven't been able to pair them together.
Right.
PrettyPriMe, the only effective ult we've seen from him have been the early ones when they were able to lock down EmilZy inside the cage. Since then, no impactful ultimates from him.
Cringe Crew now solidifying their push in the mid lane. 5 in blue right here. Good defense coming out from the Tallow Assault on Zindern, but it will be fleeting as he's taken out of the fight. Not dead, but definitely pushed out. Odin Ring from CaptainTwig will buy the team a couple of seconds.
You can see just how effective this soul has been so far. EmilZy looking for the back line, but the team focusing on the tier 2. It was just a zone tool, and they're going to bait it out forward now. But CaptainTwig looking to find multiple players. Blinks forward. No ult from him, though, and he's immediately turned on. There's the jump. Shaggyshenk, stellar burst. Just out of range.
Repi is still looking for it. Repi takes out the kill before the Neith ult can get there. Zashu stunned out. Kero's trying to peel. Gets the root. Variety will throw the card. And that's all Hungry for More's got, folks. Odin takes a spill.
I still don't understand why these front lines have not built Bulwark. I still don't understand. Repikas actually jumping forward, looking for Ataraxia and Zindern. There's the Sun. Sanctuary popped. Repi actually caught alone. Could look to get turned on. Variety is going to take out Kero in the meantime, and this is a fight in favor of Hungry for More.
Zashu's here all by himself, surrounded by red members. He's going to get tallowed. He's going to avoid the card. And Shaggyshenk throws out the Stellar Burst, just saying, shall not pass.
2 players dead. Hungry for More. Doesn't look like they have anything to take, though.
Nope.
They're going to be 4-man rotate over and split this one wave. Looks like they're looking for the tier 1 tower, so pretty big group up from them.
Huge lead from Cringe Crew. They've got about 7K in their coffers, and Hungry for More trying to shorten that up a little bit, play the subtraction game here at the tier 1. That'll be 500 if they can get it down. But the OG duo lane, EmilZy and Shaggyshenk, sitting here ready and waiting. Some like it hot. Shaggyshenk throws out the Stellar Burst, and that takes out the entirety of the wave.
Cringe Crew need to be careful. CaptainTwig has his ultimate up again. They could look to lock down EmilZy, and EmilZy, that might have been a death sentence.
Not
but over
quite.
the top is Zashu. Really surprised that the cage has not come out. Oh, he's in the mid lane, excuse me.
Yeah, Odin now finally making his rotation, trying to get the Okie Doke over the tower, jumps on top of Shaggyshenk, drops down the ring, looking for EmilZy. There's the Vulcan ult. Bang! EmilZy falls. Variety in some trouble now, very low. Can he escape? Oh, he definitely can, but CaptainTwig cannot. Repi's here. We'll ride along with Shaggy and Repi as they try to find the follow-up kills. Damage out onto the mid laner. PrettyPriMe, very tanky. Not quite enough, but Shaggyshenk takes him out.
Second kill coming out for the Soul, and this lack of bulwark or raw magical defense from Hungry for More is honestly biting them in the butt. 17,000. Shaggyshenk has been honestly the only reason that Hungry for More's front lines have died. CaptainTwig, Zindern, both getting blown up by the Soul. Neither have actually built into raw magical defense.
Right.
Honestly, CaptainTwig, 25 minutes in, only has a little bit of health coming out from Winged Blade.
Yeah.
He went the max CDR build, which CDR is good, but the problem is he hasn't built into tankiness, and he needs to kind of be this front line. At the very least, he's been in the front lines.
When we saw Repi play Odin last game, he didn't build the Yones. He went very defensive and was still able to chunk people late in the game, right? Still able to bring the damage.
He's looking to be an ult bot.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe an interesting choice there. By the way, I in that last engagement, I said the Vulcan was very tanky. I meant he's very tasty.
Okay. I also said I was also wondering where the Odin ult was when he's in the mid lane. Okay, that fight never happened.
Oh no!
We're ignoring it.
This is what we do.
Okay.
April Fools.
April Fools.
April Fools. Vulcan's tanky. April Fools.
Gold Fury after a couple kills for Cringe Crew. 12,000 gold in the lead. 26 minutes in. They do have control of this game, but you can see Hungry for More has been successfully able to fight back, and it's not over just yet. You can see build-wise they're still making it up, but PrettyPriMe, I mean, Vulcan's ultimate can change games, right? It does so much damage, especially if you hit it at max range, and it's been buffed that it's coming out faster now.
It's always the conversation when Ascilla's picked, and it's 30, 40 minutes in the game, right? So one good I'm a monster run can change this game. Same exact thing when it comes to Vulcan.
You know, that was the thing for me with Kwong in the last game, right? If Variety can successfully use his ultimate and kill someone and go up into the sky and look to re-engage, I thought Hungry for More was going to win the fight. Fire Giant, though, going to be started, going to be finished by Cringe Crew.
You have no chance to survive. Zashu. Make your time. Hungry for More doesn't even look at the Fire Giant.
Zashu successfully teleports over to the left-hand side as Ataraxia was trying to get a split push. And now Zashu.
Oh, he's going to get
wants
comboed.
to fight
Fearless.
Ataraxia at half-life already. There's the Neith ult. Zashu unafraid. 1 hit left. Lawbringer on top. Plucked back down. Repi finds that one.
Get 20-30, dude. Zashu just completely running the train on this tier. I love good tier play. It's power, it's control, it's displacement. It works out so well.
Wolfie.
All right.
You said the 2032 line. Don't even start with me.
But for real, tier just brings so much to a squad, and the build here is fantastic.
All right. I know the Y screen isn't a thing anymore where you could see who has the top damage, but like, how does no one have Bulwark for Hungry for More?
Sure. No, I mean,
their front lines are just dying. They don't have enough health or raw magical protection to survive this soul. And she is just continuously ripping through these frontliners.
Yeah, early in the game, it's all about the Awilix damage, but Cringe Crew now making their first push onto a Phoenix. CaptainTwig gonna get tossed, gonna get pulled, gonna get smoked. There's the Vulcan ultimate from a distance, not able to really find a target. On the other hand,
life saved at the hands of his team as they finish off the Phoenix, guaranteed to take a last shot on there. Really good ultimate from CaptainTwig and PrettyPriMe combined to put EmilZy into an awkward spot, but the team of Cringe Crew saving his life barely before the last Phoenix shot goes off.
Left Phoenix does fall. Cringe Crew get what they come for, and they're off to the races, looking for the right tower. If Repikas' pathing is a tip to where Cringe Crew's headed.
So Soul and EmilZy on this Crocodile Sobek, they back to base, which I expect Cringe Crew to not really force anything right now. I want them to kind of slow down the pace, wait for the team to get there. If Hungry for More show presence on this tier 2, it doesn't look like they will, so it's going to be uncontested. And now 5 players with Fire Giant. And this Soul just finished Soul Reaver.
Yeah, I mean, when your opponent is over 10,000 gold up, you don't protect the 1,500 on the tier 2. You just let it rip, and then you go 6-on-5 underneath the Phoenix. We've seen that so many times. Cringe Crew, they took out the left Phoenix, and I like the ward from Hungry for More. Look at that, the ward right in front of the Phoenix. They don't want to get okey-doked like we've seen so many teams before. And now Cringe Crew heading right towards the mid. CaptainTwig going to drop down the ult and will ride along with Shaggy. Look at all the damage he's able to deal to the team as a whole. It's all about the AoE, but here comes Variety with some AoE of his own, spreading the ghosts all over Cringe Crew. Zashu picks up 3. That's a fearless power cleave combo for the Rickards, and that's going to be a double kill for Shaggy, a single kill for Repi. There's 3 down, and what might have been just a Phoenix is now looking to be the Titan. Cringe Crew piling in. No one's alive. The Titan with over 10 kills above Hungry for More.
Shaggy, unofficial quadra there in the end. Cringe Crew going 2-0 in their first showing. And I'm going to steal your line. Hungry for More looking like they're hungry for losses. 0-6 2 weeks in. Sloppy.
Yeah, rough set of games coming out for HFM here. Cringe Crew, on the other hand, their first showing is anything but. They came out fantastic from the get-go. Shaggyshenk, game number 1 was off the rafters, and game number 2 continued it even from the first minute. Let's take a look at First Blood here, coming out for Cringe Crew, all the way in the long lane. Shaggyshenk really combined with EmilZy for a lot, and here it happened in the mid.
Yeah, you can see EmilZy, the first one to fall, I believe. Zender does get traded out in return. You can see knocked up, was not able to get meditation off there. Really nice play coming out from Hungry for More early on. You could see they were the idea was to lock down the Sobek in the cage. He can't do anything, but the shell really helped him survive a lot of that burst. You could see it was turned around for a 1-for-1 in that regard. And I think there was another fight where at the left side Harpies he actually escaped and they were able to pick up Zender.
Yeah, it was my mistake. That was obviously PrettyPriMe, not Shaggyshenk.
No, that was Shaggy, man.
PrettyPriMe was a big part of that game and what could have been a part of the Hungry for More win, honestly. You take a look at the team compositions after the fact, and this is one of those situations, Kevin, where the end scoreboard doesn't tell the tale. You take a look at the scoreboard after the fact and you go, why'd they pick Vulcan? Whereas Vulcan was almost part of the win, you know? So I still like the Vulcan pick from PrettyPriMe. I want to keep seeing it.
Hungry for More. You can see stretches of they know how to team fight. They're doing everything right. And then it's just kind of like, let's roll the dice on who's going to do something incredibly stupid and throw the game. It was just like one at a time, like, all right, okay, this time it's going to be Variety. Okay, this time it's going to be Zinder. Like, let's just figure out who's going to play really well and then do one mistake and let the other team capitalize. And honestly, Cringe Crew doing a really good job of capitalizing off of Hungry for More's mistakes. I think Hungry for More outplayed themselves in this game. Even first game. This second game, that Soul was doing so much to pick. Like, even when her ultimates weren't hitting, you could see Stellar Burst half-lifing both the Guan Yu and the Odin. Like, they just didn't understand that they needed bulwark.
Yeah, that was the key for me, honestly. I mean, there was a lot of it's the itemization. I think might have been the biggest issue for Hungry for More
themselves, man.
Outside of a true play situation. And Shaggyshenk, 2 games in a row, he plays these magical basic attack gods and just comes out of the gates absolutely tearing it up. So much damage, and look at the positioning. Both him and we saw PrettyPriMe on the Raijin last game making use of the mage's ability to deal damage from behind a wall.
Mages seem to be the name of the game for Cringe Crew. Shaggyshenk between Kronos and Soul,
Fearless,
combining for 19 kills and 2 deaths from him.
I know we're looking at a Shaggyshenk highlight reel.
The Fearless was phenomenal.
That was the Fearless that won the game.
Zashu honestly playing really well.
Yep. Ever since Super Regionals, Zashu has been a very different player for me personally. I feel like we've seen a very sort of. When I say immature, I don't mean in the person, I mean in the gameplay style. And then once Super Regionals came, I feel like he saw just exactly what competition was on the big stage, and it's just turned him around, changed almost everything out of his gameplay. And that's actually who we're going to be speaking to. The solo laner for Cringe Crew is Zashu, and he's joining us. How are you doing, Stevie? What's up?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing well, buddy. I'll go into right what we were talking about. I just praised you a whole bunch. Talking about your change from Super Regionals to today. What can you tell me about that? Did you actually feel a noticeable difference, or is it all in our heads?
No, I think you're actually right. Regionals really just bringing us a lot of new team experience altogether. And basically with that team experience, I really felt more confident playing in the SPL, and I don't know, I think that also made me play a lot better in the current SPL. Like, also scrims as well are a really important point to talk about.
All right, really good showing from you here so far in this first game. So talk to me a little bit about the matchup against an Ao Kuang. I know Europe specifically likes to run kind of these more assassin-y characters, these more carry style instead of the front line. What's your mindset going in with Bologna? Are you just trying to get ahead and rotate, or what's the game plan for this matchup?
So I actually know Variety's God pool pretty well. I know that he likes to play a lot of Bologna and Tier, so I'm trying to pick those away from him. And then I know that he has like a few backup gods, which are mostly mages and are not that great in the current solo meta, so we kind of try to abuse that.
Makes sense. Good work there. Last season, you had Cherio, who I've spoken to Deathians a lot, and he said that Cherio was a very important part of the strategy of the team next to EmilZy. Now, you've swapped that out for Repikas. Talk to me a little bit about the impact that Repikas has made to the team and the difference between a guy like Cherio and Repi.
I think Repi and Cherio are actually pretty similar, because Cherio used to always be, as you said, like kind of the mind on our team, but now that we have Repi, he kind of does the same because he used to do that on Titan effort. And also Sub, who's now being a little bit more of a coach, called Soggy Sandal. He's really stepped it up, and he's really being like amazing with drafting and just generally spotting our mistakes in scrims.
Nice.
Awesome. I just want to talk, we always do this on players and teams first interviews. Expectations. Is this, we want to try to make our name, avoid relegations? Is this, we're looking for DreamHack? Or are you guys just trying to improve and get ready for the fall split?
That's actually a pretty funny point. I think that people have been generally underrating us, even though they can't really rate us that high since they haven't seen our scrims, etc. But I think that we've actually got a pretty good shot at DreamHack for sure, and we're going to try to obviously be like first, but I think that being realistic, second or third is really good for us to achieve, and I think we should be able to do that.
Awesome.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us. Well said, well spoken, realistically and cautiously confident. It's a solo laner, Zashu, coming out from Cringe Crew. 2 wins for him and his squad, put them above Hungry for More. That's their absolute first game. We've got a lot going on this afternoon, and let's take a look at the rest of the games we'll be seeing today.
Torpedo versus Leftovers up next in just a short little while. And we're going to cap off the game with a battle of the European Titans. Paradigm, Panthera, two Worlds contenders. Obviously, Panthera, the world champions. You don't want to miss that
I'm
game.
so excited. Like, real talk, this is not.
Don't
I'm
wanna
just
miss
so
that
excited.
game.
I was doing a little dance in between. I can't wait to watch Panthera versus Paradigm. I think they're two of our more exciting teams, so you want to tune in for that. Torpedo, Leftovers, they're coming up next. Does the brand new team do well against Badger and his brand new team? We'll see you soon. Stay tuned to hi-rez TV.